Well, hello everyone. You have right here. I'm talking about when it comes to building credit right here, and a lot of times it sure seems that way. That what does it usually mean when we do speak about building credit? That pretty much means as to where that you are trying to save money. You're trying to see how far the money goes, and whenever it comes to building any sort of score, and a lot of people might even say that. Really, that it sound. Why does it sound so easy? Maybe whenever we really need to do, if anything, is just to kind of keep in mind toward okay, yeah, that maybe solve a few long division problems, or maybe doing a few math, range checks or something like that. But still, that if it's a few, maybe just a little bit of a long division adding or subtraction or something like that, but still, that let's just say that if one way that we can maybe start out with building a good credit score with a good shopping experience would more likely be is toward it. Do we have an idea of what we want to do going forward? And one of those is maybe going to be is toward yeah. Well, first of all, you want to be nice and be polite, and toward it you want to go ahead and say yeah, be nice and listen, and so everybody might even think too is toward it. When we do talk about building our credit score, and let's just say that if it's a fair credit score between 680 and maybe if it's a 693 to maybe 750 or above or something like that. So really, that what does it usually mean? If your credit score was right around that range right there, like between fair and good credit right there to really good credit, and so I know a lot of us, young kids might even say that. What exactly does that mean? Well, I guess it's another way of saying is as to where that, yeah, that I look at that maybe just a little bit like if you're trying to, yeah, if it's like a promise of some kind to where that if somebody were to say that, if you were to be trying to work on building credit, that pretty much means is to where, yeah, it's another way of saying this is to where you promise to whenever you do order this item that you do were to promise that you're going to go ahead and work that out with the payment, and then also with the information that for what's needed on the form, right? And so that's why it sure seems that way toward that when we do talk about credit score, that we're thinking is just toward yeah. To me, I look at that maybe a little bit like a grade book, but other than that, it's like it's a measure. It's like a little report of a measure to where that whenever you look at your credit score, that it's like a review. The review measures by is toward about the information, the analytics. The information that's collected based on making your payments on time, and also about how well it was handled in a timely manner, but then also that yeah, you just kind of like the awareness about okay, yeah, what's going on as far as your spending privileges, and maybe just a little bit of the electronic transactions and all that. But still, when we do speak about understanding about credit, though, and you might be thinking is this toward okay, yeah, that when we do speak about credit, that you're thinking is this toward okay, yeah, that whenever it comes to understanding your credit score, and then whenever it does, come to understanding about building a credit score, that do you want to look at that like a promise, a guarantee of some kind? But we might think is to well be nice for one, to be nice about it, and just knows as to where that with these scores right here, whenever you do look at the credit score right there, that you're thinking is toward okay, yeah. Well, that right there is supposed to mean is toward okay, yep, your credit needs work, but then you might even think too is toward okay, yeah, that credit score pretty much means is toward that that the information that's on that score means is toward that you have bills that need to be paid. It could mean a number of things, but one of those is maybe going to be is toward okay, yeah, are you pretty good at paying, making your payments on time, and are you pretty good with handling the financial case and all. So you begin to learn toward it when we do speak about credit score, right? That it seems like to me though that you write down your credit score and you're learned to where okay, yeah, these are just numbers right here. These are numbers. These right here don't really equal to anything. But in case if we're all wondering toward it, according to the score, like but that between 680 and 750 right here, that which you call between fair and good and very good to even bad credit. But if we would actually look at this right here, yeah, by what category does that usually run? By your scale between maybe a 3 and a 5 or something like that. Those are like those are the scores that goes by as toward it. Yeah, it's kind of shifting. It's shifting, and so whenever you do think about that the scores are going to go up and down like they are, and you're thinking as toward it. Yeah, so it's a scale right there. It's kind of going side by side right there. So yeah, if the score is leaning to the right, that pretty much means it's getting higher. But then whenever it goes shifts to the left like that, then that means it's lowering. And so you wanted to know too that yeah. So half the time does that mean that the more weight that you put and then it winds up going to the left, then I guess that pretty much means it's shifting to where it's it's going down to below 600, and then that leads to bad credit, right? But then whenever you work, like whenever it goes to the far right, then that means that the credit, is going up. And so whenever you do think about that, then you're warned toward okay, yeah, that so it's all about balancing, right? It's all about that. Whenever you think about your credit score, it's about getting it balanced to where that you wind up getting it to perfectly to where the score where you want it, right? And if we're talking about maybe 500 or below or something like that for bad credit, but still, every time you do think about that, and you're warned toward it, okay, that when we talk about credit scores, though, that are we talking about maybe a few math problems here, or are we talking about the activity that's going on? And a lot of times that's usually what it means, the activity for what's going on with your money. And that activity, by the way, is going to be is toward it. Yeah, that you got right here for 680 and a 750 right here. And whenever you look at a credit score, that you might even think too that okay, yeah, that you look at your credit score, maybe 2 years worth of information on that credit score that could maybe mean is toward okay, yeah, that there's been a couple of times that you were late on the payment or something like that, or maybe there have been about maybe once or twice that that you paid with on your account that it shifted a little bit just because that there was some new information that came in or something like that. So yeah, monitoring the activity. And so whenever you do think about a credit score, by the way, it seems that way toward it. What's one thing to keep in mind when we do talk about credit scores? A lot of times it's the promises, right? I promise to pay this back within a certain period of time. I promise to go ahead and write this down to sign in to my account later on or something like that. To be nice about it. And so every time you think about that, you're warned toward it. That yeah, when we do talk about a credit score right here, that you begin to wonder toward what does that even mean when we do speak about credit score? Well, that pretty much means is toward it. That's a score for how everything is calculated from how you use your money, about how you spend money, and of course how you manage it. And so if you want to look at that, is this toward yeah, be nice And if you're trying to order anything from a catalog or something like that, or anything that you're trying to do financially, it sure seems that way. That whenever you look at your credit score right here, that you weren't toward it. That yeah, that the score right here. So if it starts, yeah. So every time you do think about your credit score, though, it sure seems that way. That that's a measurement. It's a measurement about what's going on with your money right there. And people might even say that, if you kind of look at that at an angle right there, and you're warned toward it, that there's more weight going on one side than the other. There's more issues going on one side or the other. And whenever you look at that score, by the way, it seems that way toward it. Yeah, this is where your money is going. This is where your money was going, but then it shifted to the right here, just because there were some improvements. But then it started bouncing a little bit offward, to the left, and so yeah. So every time you do think about that, you're warned toward it. You know, uh, you don't really think about that in that sort of way, but still, that if we're talking about where our money is going, and for what is the plan whenever it comes to getting good readings on your credit score. And you might even be thinking too is toward it, okay, when we do speak about a credit score, by the way, that you begin to wonder toward, okay, what's the plan here? Well, the plan would be is toward it, making sure that you record. Yeah, you make sure you record. You'll keep a record of all. Yeah, be nice and keep a record. Keep a record. Keep a record of all of the transactions, all the receipts that occurred, and like he said, that keep a record on all the transactions that occurred, and like everybody might even say too, that yeah, keep a record on the. So really, that so whenever you do think about that, then you're warned toward, okay, yeah, that so if I were to keep a record on all the transactions, most of all the transactions that occurred on my score, if you were to do that for the first, do that for the first, 90 days. It's 90 days, and so it's 90 days worth of transactions, 90 days worth of records right there of where your money is going. Where your money is and where it's going. So a lot of times it sure seems that way, that when we do speak about credit scores, a lot of times maybe everybody doesn't really think about it that way. They might not. They may not even think about it that sort of way. What they're really are thinking about is that I got money now. If I got money, then that means that I can now shop. I can now shop, but still, that how many of us are really going to think about it that way, to where that the activity for what goes on with your money, and 90 days. So if you were to repeat, if you were to actually keep a track of all these records within the first 90 days of after opening up an account, and with the coupon and everything, following these steps, so all these steps right here, about 5 steps. If you were to follow these 5 steps within the first 90 days after, opening up an account, and after talking to a tax advisor and all that, then like I say, that you're more likely, you would see improvements. And so anyway, I just thought I'd mention that, and talking about understanding about the credit score.